We'd like to welcome everyone to the Pharr International Bridge Board Meeting for Wednesday, February the 20th, 2019. The time is 12:01. We're going to go ahead and start with a roll call. Here. Here.
Here.
We need a motion to excuse absent members.
I motion.
Motion by Mr. Gutierrez, second by Mr. Palacios. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by Luis. Thank you.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Lord, you have entrusted us as stewards of your creation. Please guide our hearts as we make our decisions. We seek you first in all we do together. We give you our business, our customers, and our workforce. May we always be mindful of their service. We confess that we are nothing without you, and our trust is in you completely. Amen.
Amen. We need a motion for the consent agenda, which is approval of minutes for January 16, 2019.
A motion.
Second.
And consideration and action, if any, on advertising for the Port of Brownsville Directory for 2019. And consideration and action, if any, in advertising in the Texas International Produce Association 2019 Membership Directory for $900. We have a motion by Mr. Martinez.
I
By
second.
Mr. Palacios. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Go to item three, which is the Director's Administrative Report. And we're gonna start with the Crossings and Revenues Report for January 2019.
Good afternoon, board members. For the record, Fred Brown, Director of Operations at the Pharr Bridge. I'd like to present the crossings and revenues for the month of January, fiscal year 2018-2019. On page number 2, we have the cars and trucks. These are cars and trucks that are crossing from the U.S. to Mexico. For the month of January, we crossed a total of 120,643 vehicles, which represents an increase of 9,099 vehicles, or an increase of 8.16%. On page number 3, we have the car crossings. For the month of January, we crossed a total of 65,059 cars, which represents an increase of 5,459 cars, or an increase of 9.16%. This is only cars. Also, I'd like to present the other bridges, international bridges on car crossings. We have the Gateway, a decrease of 3,581, 3% decrease. Veteran Los Tomates, an increase of 1,523, 1% increase. Free Trade Los Indios, 2,657, 9% increase. The combination of all three bridges, an increase of 599 cars, which represents an increase of 0%. Eagle Pass, they had an increase of 29,718, 15% increase. Laredo Bridge, 21,057 cars, 6% increase. McAllen Hidalgo, 17,175, 8% increase. On Salduas Bridge, 12,702, 20% increase. A combination of both bridges on Salduas and Hidalgo, an increase of 29,877, or 10% increase. Progreso Bridge, they show an increase of 2,832, 6.28% increase. The Donna Bridge, an increase of 4,643, 9.91% increase. And the Pharr Bridge, an increase of 5,459, an increase of 9.16%. This is for cars only.
Fred, after how many years of losing cars?
Yes, Chairman, for the record, since the beginning of the fiscal year, Since we started in October, November, December, January, we have seen an increase on each month for the last, I mean, I'm gonna say probably 2, 3 years that we've been losing cars. This fiscal year, since October, we have gained cars on every month that we have, that we started the fiscal year. Total, on the 4-month period, we have increased, we have total crossings of 264,151 cars. We show an increase of 16,406 cars compared to last year 4-month period.
Mr. Palacios.
Definitely very, very good month on cars.
That's great.
Yes, sir.
Fred,
Mhm.
and so do you still have, they went back to the old times from 3 to 10, okay?
On
So
the
they're
Salduas,
still
yes, sir.
operating all day long?
Yes, on Salduas, remember they, if that's the question on Salduas on the empties, is that it?
No, the cars was, they have, I was looking at the numbers here for southbound.
Uh-huh.
They had an increase, no,
Yeah, but I think- I
neck
think
and
it's-
neck, but are they open all day long for cars or what?
On Salduas or?
On Salduas?
On Salduas for cars, they open at 6 in the morning and they close at 10 p.m.
It's all day. Now
Yes, correct.
now the empties,
On the empties, they open at 3 in the afternoon and they close at 10 p.m. as well.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Mhm.
Do you,
Sorry.
do you attribute this to maybe the time of the inauguration of the new aduana?
Yes,
know,
Chairman,
more access.
definitely it was, as you know, the construction of the aduana lasted a year and a half, and it ended in October. And then, once the construction was finished, we had more, we moved those trucks and those cars faster from the U.S. to Mexico, Mexico-U.S. as well. Definitely, they open up more lanes, they have more space for the trucks to head southbound. So we don't have no issues at all, as the truck and cars goes from the U.S. to Mexico. So definitely that's one factor as well. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Fred.
On page number 4, we have the truck crossings. These are trucks that are crossing from the U.S. to Mexico. Total crossings for trucks, we cross a total of 55,584 trucks, which represents an increase of 3,640. We show an increase of 7.1% for the month of January. Also like to present the truck crossings of on other ports of entry. We have Vero Los Tomates, an increase of 1,296, 7% increase. Free Trade Los Indios, 883 trucks, 69% increase. A combination of both bridges, 2,179, 11% increase. La Eagle Pass, we had an increase of 463 trucks, 3% increase. Laredo Bridge, an increase of 12,562, 7% increase. The Pharr Bridge, we had an increase of 3,640, 7% increase. Progreso Bridge, 164 trucks, 4% increase. And the Ansalduas Bridge, they had a loss of 76 trucks, which represents a decrease of 5%. Again, like Mr. Artemio Palacios was stating, the hours of operation on Ansalduas is from 3 in the afternoon to 10 p.m. in the afternoon, and it's only empties. And it's only Monday to Friday as well, yes.
Do you have any?
On page number 5, we have the northbound. These are trucks that are coming from Mexico to the U.S. The total crossings that we had on trucks, we have a total of 58,516 trucks, which show an increase of 3,419 trucks, which represents an increase of 6.21% over last year, same month. I'd like to state that the truck crossings show an increase of 7,308 trucks, or 3.47 over the same 4-month period in fiscal year to 2017-2018. On the agriculture side, the Pharr Reynosa International Bridge total 19,124 crossings for the month of January, which represents a 34% of all the crossings of all the imports from Mexico to the U.S. Also like to state that the agriculture trucks at the Pharr National Bridge import lot show an increase of 1,124 trucks, or 6.93% over the same month in fiscal year 2017-2018. On page number 6, we have the revenues. Revenue collected for the month of January for the, these are the revenues that we collect on the cars and trucks that crosses from U.S. to Mexico. We collected a total of $1,257,893, which represents an increase of $131,567, or an increase of 11.68% over last year, same month. Total revenue collected for on the fourth month, from October to January, we collected a total of $4,858,929, which represents an increase of $306,052 or 6.72% increase. Chairman, board members, again, very, very good month on all aspects, revenues, car crossing and truck crossings as well. Okay, yes. On the numbers on top, on the fiscal year, I'd like to clarify that instead of 16-17, it's supposed to be 17-18. On the 17-18, it's supposed to be 18-19. It's just a typo on the fiscal year. Any questions?
Had we budgeted for a loss for the cars at the beginning of the year? Yeah.
Yes, we did. We were thinking that the cars we're gonna be losing 3-4% decrease, but definitely because of the construction remodeling of the aduana and the fast crossings of all trucks going into Mexico, we had an increase, a tremendous increase on cars as well.
That's great.
Also like to state that this, for the second month in a row for this fiscal year, we collected over $1 million only on trucks, on truck crossings.
And
This is
we're
the
about
second
to,
month in this
we're
fiscal
about to
year.
go into the peak of the produce
Produce
season.
season.
Produce
March
season
is gonna be the peak of the produce season, so this coming month is gonna be, pretty sure, a very good month as well.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Do we have any questions?
No, sir.
For the information of the board and anybody present, the mangoes, which is one of the bigger items that keeps us very busy in the summertime, they're a little late to the game. They probably won't be starting till late this
April.
month, early March, with some more volume. Onions have already started, so that's additional
Crossings.
volumes, crossings that
Good.
we're expecting.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Line item B, which is the finance report for January 2019.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, city administrators, for the record, Luis Bazan, Bridge Director. We do have Carla Moya, Finance Director here, in case there are any questions regarding our budget.
What did we have budgeted for the operating budget for the fiscal year?
Carla Moya, Finance Director, for the record. So the total budget for all operations for 2018-19, it's a total of, it's going to be the $15,045,800,000 that you see in the packet, the expenditure report. You're following me, right? Okay. Minus the $10,365,000. So the remaining, which is approximately $4 million, is the operating budget for the bridge. Those $10 million get transferred to the general fund and to debt service.
Right. So operating budget, we're right at 3 point change,
Correct.
right? Right
Correct.
under 4 million. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No? Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Brad?
I'm fine.
No. I think we'll have, I know Luis is working on some stuff, and I think we're gonna have some questions later on, but
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that is correct. As we are aware, the city of Pharr did hire a consultant, finance consultant, who will also be helping us oversee our budget on a year-to-year basis for the next couple of years. And that will also allow us to bring to you I guess, a more practical report and kind of see where the numbers are going. As you are aware, every year after year, we do have to make adjustments within the budget, within our means, in order to get through some of the advertising and marketing, travel expenditures, publications, things of that nature, which is the ones that hit us the hardest. Also, as you are aware, because year after year, there are more proposals, more ideas for us to kind of venture into, and those are some of the things that we get approved to follow through with, and those things do cost a lot of money sometimes. So we do budget within our means, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's not enough, so we have to adjust within our budget. But we are working on it. By March, for the March meeting, we should have a report, a full report for the board.
all right. Do we have any more questions?
No, sir.
We go to the engineer's report.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and city administrators. We do have Omar Ansaldúa, city engineer. In case there are any questions, Omar, if you'll allow me, I'll give a quick synopsis of what's going on with our projects. As a matter of fact, we were on a conference call just before this meeting today at 11 a.m. Omar can kind of go into more of the engineering details, but in essence, where we are on the DAP 15 projects, which are the northbound commercial entry lanes and northbound commercial exit lanes, that DAA, or the Donations Acceptance Agreement, is done, and with regional and national GSA reviews and approvals. They're just waiting to get concurrence from the GSA commissioner. As you are aware, we don't just work with CBP. We have to work with GSA as well because they own the facilities. And then CBP is ready with GSA, but and they went through this additional step called enterprise services. They had to get concurrences with them, and now CBP will also reroute their notes on the project through the CBP commissioner. Once all that is set, we're already at 100% on the designs, so these projects are going to cost us about $5.1 million, which we have coordinated border infrastructure funding for them. So as soon as we get that DAA fully executed, we can start looking at a timeline to start construction on this project.
Like Luis mentioned, we're in the last leg of all the agreements on this FY15. Then FY16, that's the dock expansion, the ag lab, and the cold inspection facility. That's about at 100%. We should be getting a review session with GSA CBP first part of March, and so that'll finalize that project. And then also it'll go through the other reviews, the donations acceptance agreement. So that's probably another 6 months, but we don't foresee them happening at the same time just because there's going to be a lot of construction. So we would get the FY15 started first. TxDOT's going to have some construction going on there, so this will probably be pushed back till maybe a year or 6 to 12 months so that it staggers. You don't want all the construction going on at the same time. Or if we can get it approval sooner from TxDOT, then we would push it, but it probably won't start till probably last quarter of this year, probably in the fall, that we can get that project going, the FY16. And then lastly, the bridge expansion facility, the offices, those got awarded on Monday. So we foresee starting construction there at the bridge offices sometime in March next month. So that should get going pretty soon.
The FY16, just to remind us, is...
Yes, the
is that
FY16 or
corridor-
DAP 16, excuse me?
Is that the corridor to connect?
That DAP 16 is basically the dock expansion. There's two phases, which is the dry dock and the cold inspection facility, and then we have the regional ag training center and laboratory. So those are the DAP 16 projects. We do have, what is known as Rider 11B funds for those projects at about $12.5 million. Again, as Omar was mentioning, those plans are at 100%. It just takes a lot of back and forth between GSA and CBP and all the stakeholders to ensure that everybody concurs with the drawings and the scopes of work and things of that nature. But also, as Omar was pointing out, we don't want to have all the construction going on at the same time. As it is, it seems like every project is now kind of piling up on top of each other, which is a great problem to have, but when it comes to operations, we can't afford to hinder operations, so we need to stagger them, as he was mentioning. Another project that is not considered a DAP project is the Unified Cargo Processing. That's something that we've been talking about for a couple of years now. We're starting to see some movement on that. As a matter of fact, this morning it was also discussed during the planning conference call. And even though it's a separate item from a DAP project, it still requires some type of signatures and DAA, and they require certain exhibits. So according to CBP at DAP level, national level, they will be sending us a list of exhibits that they are requiring for this. The way we would plan it here is having it as a secondary. Instead of having it pre-primary with a booth, which to us it's known as Task B in the scope of work. It'll be Task A, which is basically the removal of certain benches and things like that inside the dock in order to be able to have an inspector from Mexico there at the same time with the U.S. and do it as a secondary inspection. But it'll still allow us to move things a lot faster, speed things up at the border. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Where are we at with the lab? We almost done? Okay. We don't have an entomologist on board according
No,
to.
we do. We
Who
do have
have
an
it?
entomologist and we are working with what we have. Obviously, we wish we had all the bells and whistles, but that's coming with the Regional Ag Training Center and Laboratory. That's part of our DAP 16 projects, which was approved back in 2016. We're hoping that if all goes according to plan and God forbid another government shutdown to hold us back another month or two, we should be, the roadmap, the timeline that we have with both GSA and CBP to finish all these projects, both DAP 16 and DAP 16, should be end of 2020. But as Omar was pointing out, we might be delayed a bit.
Now, this got some more operation, but I mean, engineering wise is, the new lane that the CBP is trying out,
Oh, yes.
how do you guys see that?
Man, it's working wonders. What we did back on January 22nd, we started a 90-day pilot program. This 90-day pilot program allows smaller conveyances or smaller two-axle, smaller trucks, empty trucks that meet certain requirements to basically circumvent the import lot. So these smaller trucks or just a tractor by itself are not going into the import lot. They're actually taking a passenger lane. I believe it's lane number 8, if I'm not mistaken. Lane number 8 inside the passenger vehicle lane, and CBP is inspecting them. Obviously, they have to meet certain requirements that CBP put out, but it's actually releasing about 200 to 250 trucks per day. So we're doing really well. We're hoping that after the 90 days, we can keep this program as we continue to build out the rest of the infrastructure inside the port.
And right now, we're only using it for bobtail trucks and short trucks.
Yeah, the smaller conveyances, smaller trucks, yeah,
And
two
they
axles.
still go through, TxDOT.
They still have to go through TxDOT, so what we did is, I know that we sat down with DPS, who are here with us today. We sat down with them and the captain a few weeks back, and they requested signage, so we got on it right away. Fred was able to get some signs put in place to ensure that the trucks that were exiting the passenger lane were going straight to the DPS facility, because at the end of the day, 100% of these trucks have to go through there. Even though only a small, very small percentage gets inspected by DPS, all of them do have to exit through there. So we were able to get that done, and it's been working.
All right, well, hopefully we can continue to have it, and maybe, I know that we're thinking of extending it to empty trucks, if the size would allow it, so.
Correct.
hopefully
And I
that'll
don't want to
be the case.
overstate things or overspeak here, but I think that's something that's already being looked at as far as a full conveyance, either a 48-footer or 53-footer, as long as they're empty and they meet certain requirements. I believe that the turning radiuses in that passenger lane might be a little bit tricky, but we've been talking to CBP about maybe some small adjustments that we might need to make. Even further than that, we might even be looking at CTPAT or anything that's certified. Again, these are trucks that do not need to go inside the federal port of entry. They'll just circumvent the entire system there.
Luis, back to the unified cargo process.
Yes.
Does Laredo have unified cargo process?
I believe that they do, yes. Yeah, and in the valley, I believe that the only bridge that has that is Star Camargo.
They have unified cargo
Yeah.
process?
We have to understand that they don't have to contend with GSA.
Yeah.
So,
Which
you know, it's a-
says a lot.
it's a privately owned, we're public owned, so, yeah.
Well, so we get it pretty soon. Now, do they have it on primary, or they have it secondary, like the way we're?
No, I think they have it at primary.
on primary.
Yeah, and it's open for all products, for all imports.
It might work best for the secondary, because it's just.
Yeah.
So, all right, do we have any more questions, or?
No, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, another obviously the cameras. So the cameras, I know it's been a long time coming. The guys are, 360 Integrated was awarded the contract a few weeks back, and they've already started the work. So they're starting the installment of the cabling and things of that nature. So they've been working there. We had to rent a lift boom, and they've been working there since, I believe, since early last week.
What's
So-
going to be a timeline on that, Luis?
Excuse me?
The timeline to get it done?
Timeline was what, 3 to 4 weeks, something like that? About 4 weeks to get it all squared away. So obviously, this will add another security level, more surveillance, not just for us, but for CBP as well, which will allow them and our police department to see what we're seeing, through these cameras.
don't have any more questions, we'll go to the director's report.
Okay. Sir, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, city administrators, under the director's report, we do have a memorandum of understanding that was authorized for us to move forward with at our last meeting. We are moving forward with it, and we are scheduled to be in Celaya, Guanajuato. There's a smaller town of Paseo El Grande, Guanajuato, where it's a big cluster of automotive suppliers. So we're going to be doing this. We're going to be traveling out there on the 5th of March and heading back on the 7th. And we're going to be doing that jointly with another, with some partners. But more importantly, this is a double-sided tour, I guess, if you will, or we're going to be going into Monterrey, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But we're looking forward to this. A lot of our customers, customers that are shipping product from that area are already coming through here. But this will just, allow us to enter into this agreement, formalities more for business. As you are aware, in the past, the cities used to sign, sister city agreements, which typically never really led to any business development or any new business, if you will. Or employment, things of that nature, job creation. But this, since we started our memorandums of understanding more from a business standpoint for crossings and for investment, it's been working out nicely, so we're really looking forward to it. And again, we'll be out there the 5th through the 7th of March. The next one, that's the letter they had sent us with their signatures, respective signatures on both their end and our end. And then you have the Supply Chain Leaders Summit. So this is a regional outlook or a regional perspective. As we are aware, we are partners, or we have an MOU with the Port of Brownsville. When we first started talking about this last year with Inbound Logistics, the folks that put this together, we've been participating in the Supply Chain Leader Summit for about 3-4 years now. But this is basically our show. This is our program. This is Port of Pharr, or Pharr International Bridge, along with the Port of Brownsville, and we'll be having it at a regional location, which is in Monterrey, which is an area we've been exploring for about a year plus already. So we're really looking forward to this. What we were allowed to do with this is invite some of our customers, some of our end users, logistics, transportation companies, to also sit on the panel with us to discuss the benefits and advantages of the Pharr International Bridge, and also to talk about some of the challenges that we face in cross-border trade. So again, we're just looking forward to it, and we'll be out there. This is the flyer. And those are some of the topics that we'll be discussing. And again, we are sponsors of this program, and we have been for the last 3-4 years.
I think, I was in Monterrey yesterday and the day before yesterday, and hadn't been there. I hadn't been there, but to the airport maybe and flying out. But going out there and visiting a couple of customers, and from the time that the Kia established in Monterrey, it established on the east side of on the town east of Monterrey. So the growth has been on the east side.
Correct.
And sitting with a couple of the customers there, if you do just the time that it takes to cross, because most of them cross through Laredo, the time that it takes them to cross from one side of the city to the other is probably about an hour and 30 minutes. At least. That's no traffic and no rain, because when it rains, Monterrey paralyzes. And it took us an hour and 30 minutes to go to Cienega de Flores, and the guy wasn't driving the speed limit, the one that was driving us. And we got there, and it was just traffic and this. And when we went to one of the meetings, I told this guy, you guys are a lot closer to the Pharr Bridge in time than you are to Laredo, crossing Monterrey and taking that route. And a lot of them had not realized it, and they're right on the edge of the autopista coming into Reynosa. So I think when we go out there, that might be something that we might want to showcase, or advantage now, that we're so close because of traffic and because of all. And we understand some of the prices in logistics is a little different and go from here to Laredo. But time-wise, when there's time-sensitive material, especially in automotive, that might be a good target for us. So just keep that in mind for this supply chain.
Well, we have some good people that we invited, some good companies. And I know that, again, they are end users of the Pharr International Bridge. They're satisfied with the services and the treatment they've received from the Pharr International Bridge, not just from our offices, but obviously from the CBP side, from operations. And those are the folks, you know, that we've been talking to. And as you know, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, is the fact that we do these types of, you know, these memorandums of agreement or these partnership. That's the way we've been able to grow. I mean, and I've said it and I'll say it again, you know, to us, it's not just about bringing another truck crossing through this bridge. You know, it's about the investment. It's about ensuring that these companies are well taken care of by the city of Pharr, that their investment is safe here, and that they have the services that they need in order to push product through this land port of entry. And we're going to continue on that route. We're going to continue on that path because it's been working for us. We do shy away from a lot of these, you know, the trade shows, sitting behind an expo, you know, desk and handing out promotional items. This is what really drives the Pharr International Bridge, and this keeps it's basically our business retention and expansion, part of our business retention and expansion program. So we'll be happy to continue on that path and take any further recommendations moving forward. Next thing I have is the Bridge Connect. So Bridge Connect, again, as we all know, it's something we've been doing for a number of years now. Freddie has been working with DPS, Texas Department of Public Safety, for the last few months. The next one is coming up on the 28th of February, which is next week on Thursday, 10:30 a.m. And this will be a two-sided deal as well. I know Freddie, did you want to mention a few things, or? No. Okay, so what we do have here Lieutenant Robert Peña from DPS, and we do have also Sergeant Orlando Barrera. Mr. Barrera will give you a briefing on what to expect in this training. And as we all know as well, we do this free of charge for the trade. We do this free of charge for our customers, for the end users, and we average approximately 100 attendees at Bridge Connects. So, Mr. Barrera.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board.
Good afternoon.
Like you said, I'm Sergeant Orlando Barrera, and I'm with the Texas Department of Public Safety Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Division. We've been working with Freddie with Bridge Connect here for the last few months, and this is going to be our second training that we provide to the trucking industry through the Bridge Connect trade sessions. Okay. The training that we're going to be providing is going to be a level 1, North American level 1 inspection that we do. A 32-step process that is set out by the Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance. And this inspection is the most in-depth inspection of the 7 levels of inspection. The level 1 inspection consists of equipment, the cargo, the driver, and its paperwork. The objective of this training is to provide knowledge to the trucking industry of this inspection process, identify the commonly detected violations during this inspection process, the compliance of state and federal laws and regulations, and ultimately it keeps our roadways safe, our communities safe, and the bottom line, it saves money to the commercial industry because time is money. And I'll open the floor up to questions.
So basically, you're just going to be walking through the whole 32-step process on a level 1 inspection, which is paperwork, equipment, brakes, tires.
Everything, sir. Yes.
Okay.
So it's going to be on a 2-part. The first part, we're going to do. I'm going to bring out my staff, and we're going to do like a mock inspection. So that's going to be more like for your mechanics or your owners as to the understanding of why we do things and why the violations exist. And then the second part of it is going to be more of a question and answer kind of thing.
Okay.
At our training, right, on Dicker Road.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for helping us, you know, for this presentation and the previous. And I know you guys have not conducted some of the previous ones for e-logs, but you've always been there present to, you know, to clear some of our doubts and regrets and, you know, a whole bunch of things. But, oh, well. Thank you for that, and you know, and thank you for helping us trying to comply.
Yes,
You know, you know,
Because they are very
Fred and I
informative.
that come from the, you know, transportation side, sometimes we see you as the bad guys, you know, but, you know, once we change our mentality and focus on what we have to do instead of what we shouldn't be doing, you know, it kind of just adjusts itself and it works out better. So I know a lot of us were a lot of concerns with this e-log thing. I think it finally settled in. I know you guys are gonna start enforcing it, you know, by the end of the year. You know, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's already in place.
No, but no, but what I'm saying, Texas is supposed to have until
Texas-
2019. You know, I don't know if you call it an extension or
intrastate.
intrastate, correct?
Intrastate.
Intrastate.
Interstate, it already
Yes,
exists.
yes.
Now
But for
intrastate.
the trucks running
yes,
intrastate, and
yes. December
and by
29th.
then we're gonna have a lot of trucks that run Texas that are, you know, they're gonna be asking for
Yeah,
for-
at the moment,
for
that's-
extensions,
Right
right?
now, we do have players, first, that's on my part of my company, we do have quite a bit of Texas, and they love it, but it's still, you know, the e-logs, we thought it was gonna be a bad thing, but it actually turned out to be a good thing. Because in fact, our drivers aren't tired, which is a main concern out on the road as safety is concerned. So, you know, it has worked out. I wasn't too happy about it at first, but, you know, now I'm seeing it, and it's really not delaying the shipments that much longer.
Well, it comes down to change, right? All of us are apprehension. We have that apprehension to change, but change that sometimes is good.
Yeah. Believe it or not, it kind of even out the playing field for all of us.
Yes.
You know, you have guys that were more on the edge of the law than others, and it wasn't fair sometimes for whoever was trying to comply and conduct business, you know, in a different manner. So. Yes.
Okay. The key thing, you know, is money.
Money.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about, tires, man. But
It's,
do you still have the little booklet that, you know, on violations, you know, what's the fine? Talking
No,
about,
sir, we don't.
you know, like lights. We saw this some years back, you know, in a meeting with you guys, with the DPS, and a complaint session that they would find a light, you know, out or whatever, one of the brake lights not working. It was $200 fine, and they had to print it. Told us, you still have those?
We have a list of items that the local county judges, JPs, have set forth as to what their fine would be. Yes.
Appreciate if you give a little copy to him.
They probably know 'em
We
by
see
memory.
plenty of them.
We try and take care of it before the truck goes out on the road.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I guess we went off subject there for a bit, but you know, thank you very much. I mean,
Yes,
I don't
sir.
think any of us
It
have any
is.
more questions. I'm sure you're gonna have plenty of questions.
Yes, sir.
You know, once you get there, and you know, all I can say is, you know, sometimes it's just hard on the road for transportation companies because, you know, like it might be for you guys, you know, if you have an officer, and I know there's set standards that you guys have to follow, but sometimes some set of eyes, you know,
See different.
than others, which is the way that happens to us with, you know, some of our drivers and some of us as owners ourselves, you know, but you know, hopefully things like this will kind of standardize our eyesight and all see at the same level.
Well, in the trucking industry, the bottom line is the money, right? The sooner that gets there, the sooner we get paid.
Yeah,
The bottom line for us is the safety out on the roadways for your families and ours, right?
correct.
So we don't want to compromise
Any of that.
safety for somebody's buck, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
That's
I
what
mean,
it's about.
and a lot of these trucking companies, I know you guys hold these sessions, and those last one that we had, a lot of these owners and mechanics, they were well informed as to what to look for now.
Yes.
Before, it's like, maybe this, maybe now. With this, I mean, this actually helps a lot. You guys that are in the mechanics, so this is what you have to do. These are the parameters that you can get away, that that need to be on this truck, trailer, brakes, et cetera. So that does help out a lot, and it does help us out on the road to where our trucks don't break down on the road.
Exactly.
So that's, once that happens, it's just too much money that these road service companies do charge us.
And this particular one, it's going to be more geared towards the hazmat industry. We're going to talk about cargo tanks, the hazardous material that they carry, and the safety behind that.
And it's a good time to have that topic, you know, with a lot more, you know, finished goods going into Mexico as far as, you know, gasoline, diesel, you know, stuff like that, you know, and sometimes we all try to jump into that business or anything that looks hot as far as, you know, money, but sometimes we don't see of all the extra regulations or stuff that we have to do to enforce the safety on any of those issues. But like I said, we appreciate it. Anything we can do on the side of the board and the bridge, I'm sure Luis and Fred and Freddie will be there to help you guys. We appreciate it, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, you are correct. You know, when you look at the numbers, just today I was looking at trade numbers, U.S. trade numbers, and our number one export still continues to be petroleum gases and hydrocarbons. And number two export is actually gasoline and other fuels. But when you look at it from the import side, that's actually our number 6 import. So we continue to grow in those rankings. So it is very important. And this is something that the trade has asked. And this is something that's why we listen to the trade. We put out surveys during each Bridge Connect, and that's how we get ideas of what to do next for the next one. So we're very excited about that.
If we don't have any more questions? Nope. Go to item 4, administrative, and we have line item A, discussion and action, if any, on 2019 PMA Fresh Summit Annual Conference, Texas Town Pavilion, and we will go to executive session for this item. In accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, Section 551.071 to .087, the Pharr International Bridge hereby gives notice that it will now meet in a closed executive session to discuss the items listed on the public portion of the meeting agenda. The time now is 12:43. Welcome back. The time is 12:59. And we need a motion. Need a motion on. You need a motion to discuss, or?
No, we'll bring it to the board for consideration and action at our next board meeting. We still have some coordination to do.
No action. And we just need a motion to adjourn. We have a motion by Mr. Palacios, second by Mr. Gutierrez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good day.